Yo, what's up guys, I'm Dalton.
And I'm Lyndon, and we're from Home of Hip Hop.
And today, we're going to be discussing with you Joey Badass's latest album, Amerikkkan BadA.
Alright, so we got 22-year-old MC Joey BadA hailing out of Brooklyn.
Yeah, coming in with this album, dropped April 7th of 2017. 49-minute runtime, 12 tracks, 7 fire features on there. Brilliant.
Well, first impressions, what'd you think?
Immediately upon listening to the album, man, you see Joey as an artist mature so much.
Yes.
From his flow, his lyricism, his content, his message. You open up on that first track and you immediately know where we're going with the album because he addresses it all so clearly and so passionately, and you can see that throughout the album.
Indeed. Look, especially compared to previous stuff where you may note his, he had the flow, but it wasn't quite that level of clarity that we're seeing in this current project. And from track one, it was evident that Joey has evolved as an artist. You know, he's come through, he's matured, he's upped the skill set, and the content is
amazing and consistent. That is such a benefit in this album.
Not just the sound throughout the album, but the themes. It was tight, it was concise. There was nothing in there that didn't need to be there.
But Joey himself, his consistency, you look at his previous work and he has incredible tracks, and then tracks that were, I don't want to say bad, but just not on that
bad
same
by
level.
any means. It was just a little bit more hit and miss compared to this.
Right, Joey had always shown signs of being able to be a top tier MC and lyricist, but didn't have the consistency. This album has changed that, and he was consistent across the board. Every single track I loved. It was consistent with its theme, start to finish, but wasn't so consistent with his flow and his delivery that it got boring.
Just little snippets of this and that, he throwing in some multi-syllable sections, some real intricate, complex parts.
And double entendres, political messages, fuck Donald Trump.
Yes.
Like, he had all kinds of stuff in
killing
there.
It really just, he's come through and he's marked himself as, well, we think he's a massive up-and-comer. He's always been there in the back burner, just kind of floating around. But now cemented himself in what I would call a great MC.
Absolutely, and he's blown me away with this album, and that was just on our first listen through. So looking at some of the highlights, the strong points of the album, what really stood out to me was the song titles. I know it's not the bars and the content itself, but it was just that little attention to detail, that little bit extra that really stood out as something that I loved. From the very first track where you're looking at Good Morning America as a reference to the TV show and the news channel that, that's what America wakes up to. He has all these content and all these messages in that first song, and to me it's a wake-up call. Wake up, America, and the title just coincides with that perfectly. Looking at Land of the Free, the release date of that was really cool to me. Released on his birthday, released 2 years after his debut album, and released on Donald Trump's inauguration. So that was 3 key factors there where I thought he was releasing it, and each of those had a little bit of significance to him involved in this. The instrumentals were flawless. They switched up, they were diverse, but they were consistent. Nothing like real left field, just thrown out of the ballpark at you. It was very, I understand what I'm getting involved in, and it kept that, other than when you do take a few breaks here and there with tracks, but it's so engaging. And then finally, the hooks. The hooks for this album were phenomenal. They were hype. You were able to connect with them and learn the lyrics quite quickly.
That extra level of thought gone into it.
There was the content wasn't forfeited. You didn't lose your message. It was actually reinforced in a lot of the hooks. And overall, I just was blown away by these things. It made the album immaculate.
Yeah, well, look, we've got all of that, and we haven't even touched the bars.
No.
Okay, that's nothing. Like that was brilliant, and it shows the production level on the album was absolutely phenomenal. Flawless throughout. The themes were kept, but then Joey, bars, and bars for days,
non-stop.
Just the content. He was on point. He wasn't straying. It didn't feel like there were wasted words, and at no point He even threw a few funny little things in there, but it just worked perfectly. Whether it was just bringing that little bit of energy into it. Yeah.
I think he's one of the only people that I've heard in a rap song go, skirt, and me go, you know what, that's okay.
Yeah, I've never backed that in the past. But somehow he's pulled it off, and I'm fine with it. There's just no hate. I was just like,
and what about,
all right, cool.
What about tracks? What did you love? What were the songs that really stood out to you?
Look, everything was a highlight. Let's be honest. There
Really?
was nothing in there that I was complaining about. But that we get the theme, and then we reach Rockabye Baby. So we've got, Rockabye Baby. Yeah, you don't expect that to come through in a rap song. But Joey launches it. It works. It's catchy. You're gonna have the masses screaming this. It has that energy, that mass appeal. But it's still, it does not sacrifice the message and the content. It's there. It's all there.
It's fire, is what it
Yeah.
is. It is a standout track on its own.
Yeah.
It could be a single.
There were so many. It's all standout tracks, but it's that level of energy was brought. It was brilliant. And then to follow it up with Ring the Alarm. Whew, Joey straight up calling out other MCs. Pick your game up. It's not good enough. Your skill, it's subpar. Bring it. I can do it. Why can't you? Come on.
And putting on those 3 features on that track and having those 3 people all show they can do it too.
Yeah.
Right. That's 4 MCs right there. How many rappers can you name that people claim to be the top of the game? There are only 4 or 5. So for Joey to bring that on and show, check this out, this is incredible, and prove it.
Yeah, no one was overshadowed. They all brought their A game. It was great. I was left just hyped and pumped after that track. The content was there, the bars were there, the complexity was there. But it was a call out as well, which brings that extra level of excitement. It was like, yo, you guys need to be better. This is not good enough.
And then American Idol.
The last track, the final track, the final word he has to say to us. Just bars, just days, and oh my god.
Talk about someone raising the bar, raising the expectation.
I thought verse 1 was big. Verse 2 comes along, it's just wow.
I mean, this is a track where we're talking about Joey's desire to have gangs not focus their violence and their efforts towards their own communities, but rather to focus on protecting that community from the government, from whatever it is that they're afraid of. So to say, no, we need to step up, work together to make the change. Right now, all we're doing is making things worse for ourselves.
Well, I'll stop you there, because it's not only has he talked about having to make a change, but he's provided solutions and ideas and input. So it's like the complete cycle. It's one thing to simply commentate on the issues you see in society, but to then say, look, why aren't we doing this? Or perhaps if we did this in this manner, we could see a change.
I think that was such a big part to it too, right? His being an advocate for anti-violent change. And saying that as soon as you become violent in what you're trying to achieve, you immediately incriminate yourself, you immediately give the world a reason to eradicate you and to make you almost a force of terror as opposed to a force for good.
And something that instead of, to be listened to, something rather that should be squashed.
Yeah, ignored.
Something extinguished. So he has set that warning in place to be careful about the way you handle the situation and to approach it, with maturity and, with the knowledge that, your actions are gonna hold something against you, potentially.
Yeah. This is a 22-year-old with a real desire and you see a very activist side of Joey.
And such wisdom as well to say that. He is aware that it's not just, storm the White House, storm the politicians, that's just going to give them a reason to gun you down in the street.
Right. And he addresses it all so brilliantly. As a closing track, He readdresses all the things he's been talking about throughout the album. He kind of brings it all to a very clear conclusion. He makes a suggestion for change and how we'd like to see it be approached, and just ties it all in with killer multi-syllable rhymes, with an amazing flow, with a switch up of flow, with a killer beat, with just, I mean, the end of it basically feels like a speech. A call to arms, you said.
Oh my God, it's just so, like, if you do nothing else today, like nothing else, I don't care if you want to eat popcorn and play Xbox, you stop and you listen to this song. You can do anything else, but just listen to this song.
Listen to American Idol. Do it. Now is time for our favorite part, our most, for us, most interesting part.
Definitely.
To give our rating. We, as always, do not tell each other these ratings prior to. This is going to be a genuine first reaction. So, are you ready?
So we'll go 3, 2, 1,
Reveal.
and then the number.
Yeah.
Alright.
3,
2,
1.
13.9.
13.9. You bitch. I didn't know we were doing decimal 13.9.
Yeah, man. I'm very happy with it. But it's still only like 86% it works out to. So
yeah.
It's still not. There's still far more room for improvement.
I wouldn't say far more, but there is room.
Yeah.
Like there's. The hard part is naming what that is. You know?
Yeah.
Like
because there wasn't distinct low points in it. I just feel like, look, I can't give him more because he's 22 years old. He's only at the start of his career.
I don't want to peak him now. I don't want to.
No. He can just keep bringing it more and more and more.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the only reason he doesn't get a perfect score is because there isn't such a thing.
Well, no.
There's always got to be room for
always do
improvement.
better.
We were so impressed.
Really?
Blown away with this album. Joey has brought himself up a whole nother level. His content...
A level?
A level. He is...
Levels? My God.
Yeah.
Like, from the last stuff, last stuff was good, but this is out of the ballpark.
We were discussing...
He's just...
He has redefined himself with this album.
He may as well be a different artist. Like,
yeah, he's
compared,
become,
it's just...
This album has cemented him as one of the most serious MCs in my eyes.
Yeah.
And
because he's a little bit more in that mainstream light as well, in comparison to a lot of the underground artists that we listen to. So he's got that potential to reach the masses and really get the message across.
I mean,
he's in a powerful position. He really is.
So overall, a 13 and a 13.9.
So averages out to about a 13.5.
Yeah.
Tiny bit less, but
13.45.
Thereabouts.
Yeah. And what if I had the opportunity to speak directly to Joey, man, I would shake his hand. I would
pat on the back and
say, if there was ever any doubt in someone's mind about the future of hip hop, I would say check out Joey, because he's gonna keep it alive. So recommendations, where would you go from here if you wanted to find out more about Joey?
Look, we've got Before the Money. That's probably a good place to start. It's Joey's previous studio album.
Yeah.
It is quite different, but if you haven't already checked it out, there's a couple of great songs on there, and it is worth having a good listen through, especially in comparison to the current work.
Yeah, definitely. You'll be able to appreciate just how much he's grown and
you see the maturity level shoot through the roof on this current album.
Yeah, it's his old stuff is by no means bad. It's just different, and you'll be able to see the evolution of Joey through their work.
Yeah, if you take note of another thing, which is the clarity, you'll see that has shot through the roof. That's one thing that I personally struggled with a little bit in the past was when he gets on it and starts spinning some bars, it was a little bit hard to understand sometimes, but not a problem in this album.
Right. So you can basically watch the growth through these two albums alone. I think that's all we have to say about Joey
Yeah,
Badass.
yeah, really.
All American Badass, released in 2017, April 7th. If you want to find out more about us, want to see more videos from us, and you like what we do, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, where we create all kinds of playlists just for you guys to listen to, and so you can wrap your head around the industry and the genre as a whole. And as always, guys, peace!